We are also joined by James, who is surely a doctor in the making, their lovely child. It is a joy to welcome all three of you back to Boundless Body Radio.
Glad to be back.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us.
I loved chatting with you guys before. I was so excited to get an update on James. He looks incredibly healthy and happy. I know he was doing great last time we talked. Let's get an update. How's he doing?
Yeah, he is doing great. His core has got to be the strongest core I've ever seen. He'll balance from the table to the couch, doing a full plank Superman style. He's got no fear, which is a little bit scary. He likes to jump off of things, and he's only 20 months old, so jumping off of things is a little scary. But he loves being active. His favorite thing is to be outside. So happy with everything.
Probably in the 99th percentile for egg intake, so he's getting a lot of choline too.
Are you not too worried about cholesterol intake for the young one?
Not just yet. We'll get a calcium score if that ever becomes.
There you go. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. We'll get him on a statin soon. Yeah, that's fantastic. You guys told me before how strong he was. I think the last time we talked, he was 6 months old. So it's good to know that he's, still very strong and very happy. Has his diet been, kind of the same? Like, have you guys kind of stuck with a lower-ish kind of whole foods carbohydrate, the low carbohydrate diet?
It's totally whole food. He will have, some fruits. Probably is definitely his highest source of carbs, I'd say. But we make sure every day he's getting some source of, either ground beef, salmon, steak, eggs.
Liver and sardines.
Yeah.
So omega-3s and all the good stuff from liver.
Man, did you guys grow up eating organ meats and or sardines or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
No, not much.
Wish I did, knowing what we know now.
Totally. Like, yeah, now that I'm trying to get into some of those things and eat them, I don't have the taste for them. I think they taste disgusting. It would have been nice to get those as a kiddo and build up that taste for it. And that's awesome that he's on that diet and just absolutely thriving. Obviously a little bit young, not tons of like friends he's hanging out with. But it hasn't been a challenge at all to continue to feed him that way. When supposedly if he is hanging out with other kids or social events, they're eating probably not the same thing.
He's actually a pretty particular eater. And so, particular in some ways, not in others. So he doesn't even have interest in eating like chips, or if someone were to offer them, or bread, crackers, he won't touch them.
Wow.
So he'll like play with them, but he won't put them in his mouth. So same thing. I think once at a kid's party, they offered him a slice of cake, and I was like, sure, because he won't eat it. And
wow.
he refused. So we're
wow,
happy.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Has he taken to anything kind of sweet? Like, has he tried anything like a popsicle or something?
He hasn't had that, but he loves strawberries.
Cool.
Wow. So yeah, he gets strawberries pretty much on a daily basis. He really likes that. And I'm trying to think other like starchy vegetables. Not a ton, but sometimes he'll have some, some green peas, sweet potato.
Yeah, gotcha. I mentioned. Yeah, so healthy. It looks amazing. I've made this point several times on the show, more for the parents who have transitioned their kids over to something like a low carbohydrate diet, whether it was a type 1 diabetes diagnosis or type 2 diabetes diagnosis, like a reason to go kind of that lower carb. And I've made this point before, and I'm going to stand by it. I don't think the kids hate it. I think they do okay with it. And I think after a transition period, they tend to prefer it. Like, why would you not want to have amazing energy and not be hungry, and that you can just like go out and play the way you're supposed to?
Yeah, it was really cool at the low carb, or the Symposium of Metabolic Health. Now it's the new name, conference in Boca Raton this year. I was talking to one of the other people there, and her kid, who does incredible parkour. His core and his strength and skills are amazing. And he's been low carb for a while, and he was actually going to do a little bit of carnivore just for a bit. And he loves it because he's in incredible shape and he feels amazing. And,
wow.
Seeing the videos, he's just thriving on low carb. And he's 12, amazing. I think he was 12 or 13. So,
wow, that's amazing. Well, okay. Speaking of, I wanted another update as well. I left in the introduction that you guys, we'll discuss studies over the ribeye and the broccoli. The carnivore in me wants to know if the broccoli is still there or if that's diminished at all.
So for me, it's definitely cycling. If you had asked me in January, I was totally carnivore for maybe 2 months or so. And then I just recently started incorporating a little bit more vegetables again. And then, yeah, I'll let Matt speak for himself. But
I still like my non-starchy vegetables, but it's awesome. So I have my own basically traditional type clinic in a clinic system here in North Carolina. Laura is doing the telehealth medicine thing, but I'm seeing patients in person. The number one thing that I see when patients come in to see me for my metabolic health clinic, if they've already started, invariably they're carnivore, pretty much already putting their type 2 diabetes in remission. They almost always find it from people in the community already. Like Ken Berry is the most popular one, just finding this some Tennessee physician and that does carnivore, and they basically heal themselves before they even see me. And I'm basically there to say, yeah, it's healthy. Like putting diabetes in remission, like that is the ultimate goal in medicine. And the patients that find it and do carnivore do amazingly well. But I do like the non-starchy vegetables.
Cool. No, I appreciate that. It's always interesting to see how those patterns kind of unfold for people. And yeah, somebody like Dr. Berry has done so much good putting his message out on social media and connecting with so many people, especially in your part of the country, is just absolutely wonderful. So yeah, love that update. That's fantastic. You guys have been busy. You've had a huge year, all kinds of amazing stuff, including the most recent results of the Towards study that you guys have put out, which I think is absolutely wonderful. And we're going to park that for a minute while we talk about some of the other things. We'll tease it. And I do want to talk about some of the things that you guys have been busy with, including the what was it, the consensus statement on type 1 diabetes that you guys released at the BOCA symposium last year, and also you submitted some commentary, which I thought was fascinating, to the American Pediatrics Association or something along those lines. Yeah, I'd love to hear. Why don't we start out with the type 1 diabetes like consensus statement, and what drove that, and how has that been received a year later?
yeah, so currently in standard of care practice, some of the major medical organizations, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, recommends that children with type 1 diabetes consume 45 to 65% of their calories from carbohydrates. And so an example handout, this was coming from one of the major hospital systems that I pulled up for my talk this year. And this, again, it was just this year, this is their go-to nutritional recommendations, has an 8-year-old with, again, newly diagnosed type 1, recommended to eat 240 grams of carbohydrates per day, with eating 5 times that day.
Oh my goodness, that's insanity.
Yeah, 240 grams. And you talk about a blood sugar roller coaster and trying to dose insulin appropriately when you're consuming that amount of carbohydrates. And it is extremely difficult. Even if someone is really good at doing the math and the calculations for what the insulin appropriate dose should be, because of ways in the body that insulin is absorbed, and also the variation that is allowed on packaged food, so up to 20% off on the amount of carbohydrates that it says on the package, you can see if it's 20% off, your insulin dosing, if you're consuming 100 grams of carbohydrates at a single meal, can be way off, causing both or either really high blood sugars or really low dangerous blood sugars. And so it just sets these kids up for these roller coasters of not only blood sugars, but their mood being put on a roller coaster with the swings. And then, of course, really sadly, the complications that they're more likely to have later in life.